Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Super excited to be with you this evening. And my good buddy Dion, he is in Portugal now, enjoying I'm sure what will be an amazing amount of exhaustion from that super long plane ride, because it's a for us on the East Coast, it's still about a 5 or 6 hour flight, and for them from the West Coast, it's 6 hours to basically get to Boston. So you're usually talking about. I mean, I gotta believe that's. I don't know if he flew direct or if he did stops. Probably stopped in LaGuardia is my guess. But yeah, our good buddy Dion, he's over in Portugal, living it up, having a blast, and yeah, that's what we're excited for him. So rental market collapse. I put that with question marks and exclamation points, because I'm hearing different things from different people. I'm hearing different things from a lot of different people. So my personal experience, and obviously it's specific to my market, is that we went through a lull for probably not this past weekend or the following weekend, but the 2 weekends before that, dead. But we have we have to worry about weather. We have a weather thing here. It gets very cold. It's still actually pretty cold. Today is, in fact, I'll give you a temperature check. Temp check. Right now, it is 37 degrees. So it's chilly. Not really cold. But this morning, it was 26 degrees. So it was really chilly, especially for it being in April. So we had to take that into account. But we had 2 weeks where it was really kind of dead. Posting the ads, following the process. We were still seeing stuff come in, but the quality was just pure garbage. And then about 2 weeks ago, in fact, 2 weeks ago tonight, because we post our stuff on Thursday nights. 2 weeks ago tonight, we launched. I want to say we launched 5 or 6 different ads. We launched a lot of ads because we had a bunch of stuff that was coming due in May, and then also some in April. So we posted 5 or 6 ads. Excuse me. We posted 5 or 6 ads. We actually saw some decent quality. We're kind of like, oh, actually, we're starting to see a return to quality. Still plenty of deadbeats. I always talk about it. Pre-COVID, you used to see about 70% of people that just, were just nightmares. And then usually 20% of people that were pretty good, pretty good renters. And then like another 10% of people were exceptional renters or exceptional from a qualification perspective. And now it's more like 85% are pure hot mess garbage. And then you've got, 10% that are pretty good renters, and then 5 that are, that upper tier. So kind of both of those numbers halved. But that's what we're seeing. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what continues to happen in this market. But that's why we're doing the show, is because I can share with you my experiences. But we get everything out. And so from the previous weekend, we rented out 2 units from that weekend. And then this past weekend, we rented out 3 more units, but we got 2 more. And we're doing a little bit of work in those units to bring them back, because it's the first time that I've ever gotten the unit back. So both of those units we're doing a little bit of work in, because it's the first time I've gotten the unit since I bought the building. One of them I've actually owned for 5 years. So that tenant was there for 5 years. And then another one I've owned for 6 years. I bought it in 18. And then the other one I bought in 21. So that's 4 years. Or 7 and 4, 6. Yeah, it's about 6 and 4. So those tenants were there for quite some time, which was awesome. But what's really exciting is, we had raised their rents from where they were. One of them was a 1-bedroom. Actually, they were both 1-bedrooms, but one of the 1-bedrooms in this desirable city was renting out for $775. Over the course of time, I got them up to $1,039. But now that market's like $1,450. So excited, because as I told you guys this year, I wanted to raise another $100,000 of revenue based on doing that. So What we did was we did that. So that unit's in the process of being redone. It's almost completed and almost finished. And like I said, that will go for, instead of 1,039, that'll go to about 1,450, 14 to 1,450 or so. So about an extra $400 a month. The other unit was rented to an older gentleman. We don't raise rent on retirees. We recognize they're on a fixed income. And this person wasn't particularly the best tenant. It was actually kind of a jerk, in all honesty. And every single time my agent was over there, he'd yell at her, and for other units in the building, and just a real kind of pill. But he was paying $850 for his one bedroom. His one bedroom is worth about $1,450 to $1,500 because it's a big one bedroom with private off-street parking and a beautiful view of the river. Like, it's a nice place. Dated, but we're going to take care of that. We're going to do the kitchen. We're going to do some floors there. We're going to do some doors there. But we're going to go from, like I said, about $850 to probably about $1,500. So you're $650 a month there. So if you're looking at these different pieces, you're about $1,100 a month in just 2 units. Well, in order to get to $100,000 a year, you need just under $9,000. You need about 83.33, I think, or 83, right around there, per month. And so we'll pick up $1,100 per month on these units, which means we've got about 7,000 more to go. However, we've already rented a bunch of other units, and so I think we only have about 4,000 left, or 5,000, or 4,000, 3 to 4,000 left in increases, to then make an extra 6 figures this year. Super news. So that being said, it's not collapsing. It's not falling apart. The rental market is doing fine. There are some cities where that's happening, but you know what is collapsing is Class A. All the big boys that are having to take reductions, I have lost some of the tenants that I've lost them to companies that went with no credit score, companies that gave them the first 2 months rent and only a $99 security deposit. So it's kind of like they're paying you to move there. They legit are paying you to move there. And those rents are $2,000 a month, and the deposit's the same. So $6,000, $6,000. Now on $2,000 of it, they're kicking it down the road, but this is one way that they do it. And on $4,000 of it, they're just basically taking it because they rather have the unit rented. I guess that's one strategy. So keep in mind, you'll see some of these A-class places, they're absolutely goosing it. They're goosing the numbers. They're not real numbers. They're not real. And of course, all the pikers don't know that. All the people that think they know what they're talking about don't know what they're talking about. All the ones that are just like, oh, well, Class A is exploding. And no, it's not. They're still filling units. They're just doing it in a way that revenues are going to be down. But at the end of the day, they're still filling units. So anyway, let's jump into the questions. Let's see. I have to answer an urgent text. Jason Calisbeta, good to see you. Wayne Wong, you as well. Landlord Odyssey, you as well. Landlord Odyssey, I saw that you'd send some stuff over. Just let me know if the designer got back to you. Just put that in the chat below. JP Property Consulting, good to see you, JP. BuzzTune, good to see you. End of the World, I know Ned, right? End of the World is coming. Laura Samaniego, good to see you. Chester is same. Lin Tang, hello. Marek Mada, good evening. Good evening. Ned Talks, just rented 5 units at once. Well, that's not a bad, that beats a sharp stick in the eye. If only, wait a second, you did take the Lumberjack Landlord course. Good to have you. Housing Needed Studios, and turning a few over, up from 1K last year, same units. Yep, life is hard. It's almost like landlording works when you do it right. It's well done, Ned. Chris Culp, how are you, sir? Old Guy REI, good evening from lovely Watsonville, California. It is lovely. All Nighter Hider, good to see you. Good to see you. Swapped out a shower valve. The owner let me pick, so I went to Moen. Would you know? Now, did you go to Moen because you're going to have to replace it sooner? Troy Roberts, how are you, sir? Good to see you. I think I'm getting my live streams crossed. The Moen thing was discussed with Dion and David. Yeah, wasn't me. Moen's a garbage product, comparatively speaking. Our brand of choice when it comes to faucets is absolutely Kohler. That's our brand. Kohler or Pfister, based on product and return and return rate and availability of parts. So enjoy your Moen. Let's see. $99 security deposit doesn't provide much. That's exactly right. That's why they're kicking the can down the road, right? Extend and pretend. Hey guys, it's cool. We got them to pay a security deposit, $99. And not only did we get them to pay a security deposit, but they signed a 14-month lease. 2 months of those are free. But that's what they do. They make you sign a 14-month lease. So yeah, interesting tact. Let's see. Tim L, what do you think of including a space heater to supplement heat with listed and lease? Nope. So space heaters often by the local fire department and many insurance companies are seen as fire hazards. Can't do it. So what you can do pretty inexpensively is usually you can put in an extra breaker into your panel. It's an extra circuit breaker in the space in your panel. You can get a line run by an electrician, typically of depending on what selection you make of a piece of baseboard. Then you get a piece of baseboard, then you have a thermostat off of it. All in all, that job costs about $700 or $800 usually. And it's something that's very, very doable, but most importantly, it will not cause a fire hazard. And it won't get you canceled by your insurance. So that's the win. Not canceled by insurance for the win. The designer got back to me. We're moving forward. Very good. That's exciting news. Landlord Odyssey is finally ready for some kitchens. Abraham Franco, good to have you. How does your course differ from Zuber's course? Oh my goodness. So Zuber really focuses a lot of his work on the buy box, and then he brought in other people that do other things kind of to talk about in his course, kind of what they do. Everything of mine is firsthand experience. So the name of the course, for those of you who don't know, is Oh Shit, I'm a Landlord, Now What? So mine wasn't really so much about the buying side. Mine's more about the management side, working with towns, getting projects approved, repairs that you can do, upgrades that you can make, how to work with tenants, all of the stuff that kind of comes the day after you close. Now, there's buying portions in there when we talk about things like rent box. I show you my exact formula and what I do and how I do it. Don't spend a lot of time on that on the channel because, quite frankly, that's extensive. And we don't want people falling asleep. But if it's something that you're trying to learn, it's invaluable because that's what it's going to do. But yeah, the biggest difference, Abraham, and I appreciate the question, is all of my stuff is hands-on experience with essentially managing assets, building a portfolio, and doing it through systems and processes. And so that's what we really line out. And you can also ask the chat. There's a bunch of people here too that have taken the course. So Ned Talks has taken it. Landlord Odyssey's taken it. I saw Wealth Building Journeys taking it. There's a number of other folks that have taken it. Let's see. Chris Culp is taking it. Old REI guy is taking it. Lynn's taking it. I know I'm missing some people, but Jason Calasabetta's taken it. So a lot of people in the chat have taken it. So you can certainly ask them. I know they'll give you an honest review. HM. Oh, I need to also send over the second unit measurements. Yes. Yeah. Whenever you send those over, ready on, we'll take care of that. Or the designer will take care of it. HM. Hey, Lumberjack, wondering if you rent rooms. I don't, because it's illegal. If you do, any advice on how to design rooms to give individuals more privacy? They're semi-owned utilities like a bar fridge, benchtop cooker. Yeah, so I wouldn't be putting those things in the rooms. I would be getting a decent sized fridge, because those tiny fridges, they can be absolute electricity vipers. So usually anything that we do where we have a roommate situation, we don't rent it out by the room. We have them all sign the same lease, so they're joint and severally liable. And that you can look that up and you can see the value of that, where it's basically like I can go after anybody that's on the list. I don't have to go over the one who necessarily did the damage. But yeah, we're trying to put them. The other things that we do that are most important is a Wi-Fi connection to their own room. So we usually do a dedicated line to their room Wi-Fi. That way they can handle and do their own thing. That way, if they're gamers, they're not constantly getting bumped by other people that might be on the network. And then they also can have their own TV if they choose to have their own cable service, like all of these things. So those are all options. But yeah, we don't rent by the room because in most places in the country, if you do rent by the room, it's usually illegally. What you want to do is you want to check with your local town, try and do the research on your own, because if you call in and you ask, then they already know. So anyway, that's the deal. Let's see. BF, hey now, Lumberjack. Hey BF, good to see you. Trey Roberts, you'll get a good laugh out of this, Matt. Had my contractor put letters up for my duplex. Didn't realize they were not labeled, but he put the letter B on apartment A and A on B. Yes. So what's really funny is people think that that's like a little thing. It's not actually a little thing. Your building official in your town can actually give you a massive fine. Do you know why? It's because of 911 service. Emergency services, they believe that they have a certain address. They say the certain address. They go and they try and can't get in. They'll bust the door down. That's not their fault. That's yours. So yeah, it can be a nasty thing. Hyder, thanks so much for pushing up. Abraham, there's the syllabus. Go take a look at it. There's no obligation, but just go take a look at it and see if it's something that you feel like you could learn more. Troy Roberts, guess who gets to fix that for free? Well, the contractor, of course. They made the mistake. Dan M, closed my first house hack today. Congratulations, Dan M. That's awesome. Very good. A fourplex in Minnesota puts my partner and I up to 3 rental properties, single family duplex, and now a quadplex. That is excellent, excellent news. Congratulations, Dan. Well done. Now, tell me which one of your favorites. Which one's your favorite? Is it the duplex, or the quadplex, or the single family? Moen gives a lifetime warranty. This is why I only use Moen. So they might give a lifetime warranty, but that doesn't mean that their parts are readily available. And that's the biggest issue. And they only have to give a lifetime warranty because their stuff breaks. My Kohler stuff doesn't break. Just doesn't. But just saying, BF. Chris Culp, Matt, making attic into 2 bedrooms, but may need to expand windows. Yep, done that. Yeah, done that for sure. Yep. Yeah, so what you usually can do is you can usually just take what's there as a double hung and change it to a casement. Usually that will get you the 5.7 square feet, what you need for egress. Usually that will get you what you need. Tim L, love it. Heat and insurance, a good day. I know, right? Well done. JW, are people still using bigger pockets? Yeah, they still have full events. Yeah, for sure. Yep, I think that they saw. So I think what my guess is, don't know this because I don't know anybody with bigger pockets, but my guess is they probably saw a decline in who was watching, and it became less actionable. And so I think what's cool about what they've done is they've kind of brought it home. They've gotten back to their grassroots, which was all about the small investor trying to do and trying to be something. For me, we talk a lot about right sizing, and that's our focus, and that's our goal is right sizing. My goal wasn't to be 150 units. Wasn't the goal. My goal wasn't to be 100. It's not to be 200. It's not to be 50. My goal was only, I'm going to do it as long as I want to do it, and like as long as I enjoy it, and I can still do good deals. And then you start to see the money, and then you start to see you get past the first 5 or 6 years, and you're like, man, this could really fly. And then we just kept on doing them. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to live lean fire. I don't want to live fire. I don't want to live fat fire. I want to live obese fire. Obese fire. So that's what I'm doing. I live obese fire. So I have, with 53 buildings and 153 units, I think, I have to go through and I have to recount because we've sold and bought some stuff, and we sold off some singles and bought some quads. So I have to go through that number again. But obese fire is where we want to be, because now I don't have to think about money. largely speaking. So I think people are still using bigger pockets. They still have channel growth. And they still have plenty of people in courses. So yeah. And for those of you who don't know, our good buddy Dion, he was actually named their keynote speaker. So get your tickets now. I know I'm flying out just to see him speak in that keynote. I told him, I said, it better not suck because I'm flying all the way out there to see it. Robert Fairnelly, for the video, I'm going to try and share it via Google Networks as we transfer to network. Okay, cool. Chris Cope, there to be an awning windows to meet escape requirement and experience. Yeah. So they don't need to be awning windows. Usually depending on how high it is up off the ground. And the number I think in our state is, I don't know if it's federal, but the number in our state is 20 feet. If it's more than 20 feet off the ground, you need something called a fire porch. We call them fire porches here because they actually, if it's more than 20 feet off the ground, you need to be able to get outside the unit, still 5.7 square feet of egress in the window, and get out onto the perch. And then basically they say that will give you an hour. Again, they say. I still don't really necessarily understand it, but what do I know? I just follow the rules. But yeah, that is those are the numbers. Ned Wealth Building Journey, thanks for posting that. Ned Talks, lots of us taken it multiple times. It's a good one. Oh, thanks, Ned. Yeah, so a number of people have taken it a number of times. Wealth Building Journey, I highly recommend the course, regardless of whether you have 0 properties or 1 million properties. That's true. Hey, Grumpy Contractor, take the course. Oh, thank you. Guys, I appreciate you. Worth way, way more than it costs. I know. But I want people to take it. And I know if I make it $10,000, I have that many fewer people taking it. I don't want to do that. I want more people taking it so more people don't make mistakes. I made a ton of mistakes in the beginning, 3 that almost took me literally out of commission, 3 that almost bankrupted me. So I always share, hey, this is exactly what I did. Here's exactly what I encountered. And this is why the process exists and why I do it the way that I do it now today. HM, thanks. You're welcome. Tim L took the course. Savings over 50K so far and counting. Thank you, Tim. That's a great endorsement. I appreciate that. BF Matt, if you have a 20-year-old refrigerator that needs a $300 repair, would you repair it or buy a new refrigerator at $1,100? I bought a new refrigerator. I would buy the new refrigerator because usually at 20 years old, you're starting to get to that point where you're going to replace some of the bigger things. So if you make that $300 repair, that's largely not your last repair. The other thing is that with the $1,100 fridge, prepare to be disappointed. It's just going to be disappointing. That thing might have problems at 3 to 5 years. Like, it's bad. ZG, would like to know? ZG, welcome. I don't recognize your name, so welcome. Would like to know your opinion on cost-effective cabinetry for kitchens. So we actually do one in our course. It's an unbranded. The reason I can't name the brand is because there's a lot of reasons, and I won't go into them, but I can't name the brand. But what you're looking for is usually like a semi-custom kitchen. In all honesty, talk to the people that have ordered kitchens from us, and we allow that through the course. I know that they've saved more money on a single kitchen than what the course cost, which isn't the point of the course. I want you taking the course for good reasons, but we like to give back to the people that take the course because we know one of the most expensive things to do is kitchens. So if we can take that off of their shoulders and put them in a position where they don't have to worry about that stuff, that's always kind of our goal. So outside of that brand, I would just look for a semi-custom kitchen, and that you can get good vendor support is the biggest thing. And test their pistons. Make sure their slow close are really truly slow close for drawers and doors. Dan M, the quad is my favorite because it's a converted mansion. That sounds really cool. Also has 300+ year old boilers that are awesome. Dude, those are the coolest. I don't have it here in my office. I don't have it handy in my office. One of my favorite things that I saved was the pressure gauge. You can unspin that pressure gauge. You can turn it into, and you can actually put it into an elbow, and then you can get a flange to put on the bottom. I stick it right on my desk as a paperweight. Love that thing. It's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Liz, hey Matt, what property features should we look out for when buying a property we want to house hack? Should one side cover the mortgage to make it a good deal? So ideally, yeah, but I think the biggest thing is that usually now with any deals, like, for us, when I started doing it, 15, 18 years ago, it covered the entire mortgage. As time passed on, it covered less and less and less of the mortgage. I looked at it now, and it usually will cover about 60% of your rent. So you're basically getting rent for about half price. What you're still looking for is, when I move out, and the question you always want to ask yourself is, when I move out, how much money is it going to make on that mortgage? Like, how much money is it going to make where income on the rents and balances out against the mortgage? So run it like both sides are going to be rented. You just happen to be paying one of the sides, because that you want to make sure that you get an exit on the other side. BF, I knew you were going to say Mogan brakes, but honestly, I have never had a problem with my Mogan fixtures. That's good. I've had lots of problems with Kohler. It may be hard water we have here. Yeah, that's interesting, because we have hard water here too. But yeah, we haven't had any issues. Like the cheapy Kohlers where you buy in certain large outlets. We've had challenges with those because of the inside pieces. But we haven't had them when we've gotten actual quality, like the non-diet version of Moen. The grumpy contractor, personally like Delta. Yep, better. We'll use Kohler if I have to. Had many issues with Pfister, especially Moen over the years. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Good evening, Flavio. Good to see you. Troy Roberts. Hey, Matt, do you have a recommendation on exterior entry light that's bright enough for 16-foot walkway area in partially some parking? I would be looking at something that's on a motion sensor for something like that. Like if it's a main area, like, so if it's like a side door or a back door, I'm going motion sensor. On the front door, I'm still doing something nice and elegant, but the problem is like those cans that have the light that pop and shoot out of the top, they don't throw enough light out onto the area. So what I recommend there is just something bigger with a number of light bulbs on the front, and that's typically on the front of the house. But yeah, on the sides and on the backs, on hold on one second. Hold on one second. This is one of our larger clients, and we had an issue at one of the properties. But they had some trucks and they took care of it. So I was thanking him. So that's what I would do as far as the lights go, but something that's there on the back that actually is a double-headed light where you can spin them, but it's also got to be motion sensor. Chris Culp, I don't have enough height for casement window. No fire porch needed. Think only awning window will work. Awning windows don't work though. They don't open up all the way. They have a whatchamacallit, they have a metal piece on them. Depends on what the town fire says. Yes. It's a good client. I like the guy. He's a good guy. Troy Roberts, bigger pockets is great for networking with investors agents for your market of investing in your local market if you invest elsewhere. So I think all those things, yes, but I really like local meetups, and bigger pocket local meetups are fine, but I like other local meetups as well. So I went to them for a long time. I've made a lot of connections that way. I'm a number of guys' retirement plans when they decide they don't want to do stuff anymore. And so I'll jump in and take care of stuff for them, and I will buy their assets and hopefully get them on seller financing. Liz, would it make more sense to get cabinets from Home Depot or some supplier and make them yourself if you know how to? No. Making them yourself, making cabinets is a very high-end finished carpentry skill. You're not making cabinets that will look any good, close well, look good. And even if you hire a carpenter that says they can, they can't. And if they can, it's $25,000. I know guys in the custom cabinet business. Home Depot cabinets, most of their grades are pure trash. And the ones that start to get good are outrageously overpriced, like crazily so overpriced. But you got contractors, feel free to weigh in. I know that you guys know a lot of that stuff. So yeah, the Home Depot cabinets, not quality at all. And you will end up fixing them a lot. The grumpy contractor. The biggest problem with all the finished plumbing there is big difference in what you get from box stores and plumbing supply. True. Showrooms, they dummy down the quality of the materials in manufacturing. Very much so. Ned talks. I really miss getting paid to live in my fourplex after the note and utilities were already covered. True story. That was something that was very much enjoyable for me as well. So funny. We were all over the map on plumbing fixtures. I know, this is the crazy thing, right? Like, you put 4 landlords in a row and you're going to get 4 different opinions. And a lot of times that's like, we had one guy who was just really particular with using this one kind of boiler, and we kept on using it. And then we realized it was complete junk and we abandoned it. But then that's when we found IBC. We were replacing the other one too often. So yeah, it's funny how that happens. Chris Culp, interesting. I have to get smarter on windows, apparently. Yeah, it's a code thing. Talk to the fire department and ask them what they require of that window, because if you have a space requirement this way, you very well might have the only option of going to a slide. And then you have to do a much bigger window because the one pane has to be 5.7 square feet. Jeremy finally caught alive. Thanks for the course. I got a ton of value for it. Jeremy, I really appreciate that. That's nice of you to say. I'm very glad. And honored. Guys, I don't think you understand. From my perspective, one day you guys will do a course, but from my perspective, I'm honored to be a part of your journey. It is a lot of fun. I love getting questions. That's why I do this for free every weekend or every week. I love spending time with you guys, helping you along in your journey. I didn't have access to any of that when I did mine. Cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'm happy to do this with you guys, and I appreciate being able to be a part of it. JP Property Consulting. There's a site called Connected Investors that helps you locate deals or market the sale of your property. Cool. The grumpy contractor. Personal experiences, what bites you at the time. Yes, true story. True story. Finally caught alive as well. My notifications were not on correctly. Yeah, JP, that can happen too. The nice thing is for me, I'm not digging you all the time. Once a week is when you're going to get a notification. So make sure you turn notifications on for me, because if I'm going live on something, it's legit. It's like the real deal. I don't put out anything unless it's like, hey, people got to see this. And Thursday nights, that's it. That's it, guys. I'm not a YouTuber. Not a YouTuber. Not a YouTuber. Not a YouTuber. All-nighter hider. I agree. Cabinets, stairs, etc. There's just some trades that are crazy specialized. Quality cabinets take very high quality tools, absolutely, and the know how to build consistently. It's very much the truth. I would hate to see anybody go down the path of building custom cabinets, because I can tell you will ruin about $4,000 worth of product. You won't be happy. It won't look good. Yeah. Yep. True story. Most prefab cabinets are garbage. That's true. Yeah, you want to get like a semi-custom. And what that means is that you can get it in a bunch of different sizes. The way that ours are designed is the box itself is the same exact design across the board. What's really cool about it is that the faces actually come off and the doors can also come off. So if you're in a situation where somebody beats the crap out of a face of a cabinet and you got to replace the door and the frame, you don't have to rip out the entire kitchen, the countertop. You don't have to do all that work. You can literally get in there. You can pop the face off and then you can just replace it with a new face and a new cabinet door. Very, very, very valuable. The grumpy contractor would never do custom on a rental on a higher end flip. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Lars Nielsen, I bet Matt makes more money a year from his lowest cash flowing property than 70% of all full-time YouTubers. Probably more. Yeah, it's probably more. Like, there's too many guys out there, and that's the concern that I always had about YouTube and quite frankly, even the course. is that I never want the course to be more than 5% of my revenue ever. So guess what happens when more people take the course? I go buy more property, so it still remains less than 5%. And I think it's about that. I think it's right around there. It's definitely less than 10, but yeah, it's like 5 or 6 or whatever. What do you think? Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, it's probably right around 5. Right around 5. Yep. 10 we have a problem. At 10 I got to go buy a bunch more stuff, but yeah, at 5 we're good. But yeah, I don't want to. So, and the same with YouTube. If you take all the money that I make minus expenses to do all the YouTube stuff, I can tell you it's like less than 5%. Just is. So I make all of my money doing what I teach. All nighter. I can confidently say that I'm not a cabinet maker. I have built very high quality replacements, but not a whole kitchen. Fish tank stands too with 2 friends in the tank biz. That's awesome. Yeah, it's just it's a really it's a hard thing. It's and the tooling that you need. I can tell you one of my guys that does cabinets, he has $40,000 worth of tools. He has 40 grand worth of tools. And then he has to go and use some of the more expensive stuff. There's big, huge, massive saws, where they have to do CAD and fabricate. Then they fabricate all the pieces, and then, it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, I think it's just one of those really weird skills. And I've seen guys spend 2 weeks building a perfect staircase. That was impressive. Lars Nielsen, I did more due diligence on the property I'm buying than the corporation that is selling it to me. Thanks for the course. That's awesome. So what Lars is talking about is we very often look at things a little bit differently. I will look at assets, and that's what I call them. I don't call them properties. I look at assets because that's what it is to me. I'm an asset manager. I'm not a property manager. So I'm an asset manager. But I'm jumping in and I'm trying to look at all the different aspects that the given asset can afford me. Zoning. I have made a lot of money on property because no one else noticed that it was zoned a certain way. I bought a piece of property for $220,000, and the $220,000 that I spent on that property, that raw land, or the land with a plan, is worth about $800,000. Now, I could have left it a duplex, and I did for a while, but then I looked at it and I go, yeah, this isn't really, I can make a lot more money doing something else. And again, that was all based on understanding how to buy that asset. More importantly, what that asset actually stood for. Marek, you're up next. Multifamily market is still crazy. North suburbs, Chicago, 3-unit buildings, 25 offers, 23 over asking, sold for $85K more than asking price. That is absolutely spectacular. Mark, I'm so glad you came in to say that. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to hanging out with the crew. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. This last weekend, I looked at one and it had 9 offers on it. I'm looking at another one next Wednesday, and I'm kind of bummed because I think I might want the property, but I bet there's going to be at least a half dozen offers. And you're right. Stuff is selling for, 85. It didn't sell for 85 more. Get this. I'll tell on myself. 60 days ago, 60, 90, no, probably 90 days ago. 90 days ago, I was looking at something frigid winter. It was actually before I came out for the ORAD event. I'm looking at the 3-unit and a 4-unit. I negotiate the deal down to $1.1 million. $1.1 million. They were ready to take $1.1 million. And then I found another deal that I was like, nope, this deal is better. This deal is just better. And so I found another deal. So I didn't do that deal. I did another deal. The other deal was $635,000 or $665,000. So it's about half the price. And I didn't want as big of a project as the $1.1 million stuff. So fast forward 90 days. These guys post these 2 buildings on the market. It was a set of partners. They posted 2 buildings. Now that we're pretty much caught up on questions, guys, hit me below with all of your guesses on what you think that those 2 buildings that I got down to 1-1. 90 days later, they went to market and they went under contract, multiple offers. But those same buildings, a 3-unit and a 4-unit, $1.1 million is what they were agreed to doing. Take a wild guess at what they actually sold those things for. They're under contract now for them. All Nighter says $40K doesn't sound like much, to be honest. Yep, but that's for one trade. I have about $40, $50K in tools, but I do almost everything. So not only that do you do almost everything, but for them, the $40K is really just all their personal stuff. It doesn't include all the big saws and things like that. So 1.7, 1.5, 1.4, 1.8. So they got 1.35 million. They got an extra $250,000 in 90 days. Oh, should have been a wholesaler. Damn it. I should have put that under contract and then just sold the contract. Yeah, 135. Unbelievable. 135. Dear God. Hey, Freeman. Good to see you. Good to see you. Terry, what's up, my friend? Good to catch you live. Oh, man, I appreciate that. It's good to see you, my friend. JP, a few communities that I've managed each year, we would offer one free update in their apartment when they renew. Yeah, updated shower head, California closets, new kitchen and flooring, etc. Right here, my dear. Thank you so much. My lovely wife. We were running around, and Thursday night is gymnastics night, and so we're running around, chicken with our heads cut off, and I had a bunch of paperwork I had to do. I had to do all those leases. I also had to finish a couple. I mean, literally, it's 5 days before tax time, and I'm finishing cost segs. But I finished a few cost segs. But yeah, we did that, and then I was like, oh man, I'm starving. She's like, yeah, I'm hungry too. And I was like, I gotta go do my show. She's like, I'll go get us both food. So I have some food right here. So I'm gonna eat a little bit while I do this. Hopefully, it doesn't annoy you too much. But if it does, I'm starving. So too bad. Chris Culp, just took a cabinet making class this past weekend. Great for woodworking skills, but would never do it if for a tenant of from or my kitchen. Yeah, true story. Mm-hmm. Jason says, hey, Mark, I live in Chicago. Do you live and invest there? I invest here also. That's true. Jason does. See? Networking, already networking. Was just typing wholesale deal. Good for you. Love that. I know. I want to kick myself. Rob, note to self, Hyder can build cabinets. He can. He's a craftsman. He's a craftsman. All right. What other questions do you guys have this evening? I'm just going to take a drink while you ponder and post. We're all family here. And I'm starving. Sorry, guys. It was a crazy busy day. We're in that season now where taxes are finally wrapping. Cost segs are wrapping. Believe it or not, Q1 just finished. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. This is our season for all of our rentals. So we've turned I think we've done 9 leases this year. Yeah, we've done 9 leases this year. Chester, curious when the next boot camp might be. Great question. It is going to be, I believe, September. I think it's going to be September, October, November. Hopefully finish either right before Thanksgiving or we take a Thanksgiving break and then we do a couple weeks after that. Yep. Chris Cope, suffering through the winter tenant blues, wondering if I sit on it until May before I ramp it up. Initial response week, which is normal for February, March, April. Yeah, I think so. We took down a couple units just because we're like, not really. Liz, my course does talk about cost segs. It does. But there's also a video on my channel that talks about cost segs. But in the course, we cover it more in depth because I can actually walk you through them. So I don't do that on YouTube because it shows all my data. But we'll do those in the course. Yeah, we absolutely we can show a cost in the boot camps. Rob, I have a turn tomorrow, hoping the unit's clean. Yeah, I know. Isn't that always the thing? On the 10th? What's up with that, Rob? Do I agree with Wall Street that we're starting a recession right now? Yep. I agreed back. I think we were going through a recession anyway. I don't think they were reporting the numbers accurately. But that's just me and my conspiracy theorist brain. That's truly. I just didn't think they were. I think it was crazy, but yeah, I think we've been going through one. Like you guys heard on, maybe you didn't hear it on Wonderful Times channel, but I basically said, hey, for 90 to 180 days, pure and total chaos. No one's going to know which way is up. Everybody's going to be complaining because everybody's being affected some way, shape, or form. But you got to rip the Band-Aid off if you want to fix the problem. So, if you believe that that debt is an infection, we've got an infection. We got to get that Band-Aid off. We got to scrub that thing out. We got to make sure it's clean, and we're going to feel better because, in 6 months, we don't lose our legs, type of thing. I get turns midweek, mid-month. Okay. Why? I'd love to hear the rationale. Sounds very Dion-y. Farinelli says, sorry. Hold on. Now I got to put down those fries. So any advice on what to do when KSU admissions and community living want to pass me on to back and forth and directors want to ignore me? Yeah, find a way to get on talk to a student about getting onto the community bulletin board. That's what I would do. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I would try. Liz, is the course a one-time price, lifetime access? Do you add on to it? One-time price, lifetime access. Yes, and yes, I add on to it. I have 2 pieces that we're adding on to it very shortly. Yep, 2 pieces. Yeah, JP, that would be a nightmare. But even midterm rentals, JP, you just charge extra, right, man? Yeah, Chris Culp, lead course is one. Section 8 is another. And then there was one other one. I have to look and see what the other one was. I've written the outline. Yeah. Lars, my issue is using a formula for trade deficits to justify tariffs, as it causes people that make decisions to lose confidence. Mm-hmm. That is true. I think the challenge is, no one you can try and model out the effects, but it's really hard to model out the effects. So what I always like to say is I just buckle up. There's just debt got less expensive, then it got much more expensive, then it got back less expensive. Who knows what it's going to be in the next few days? So it's interesting to see what happens. Tim L, use your paint suggestion, and the painter said he used a third of what most of his customers buy. Save time and money. Wow, I never would have guessed it. Wait a second. I tell people to do that for a reason, but that's exactly why. So we talk about it. When we go through our business, we look at each part and we fine tune it. And that's kind of what the course is there meant to do. It's there to say, hey, this is how you should set up operations. And then how you have them set up today, let's fine tune them. And certain things you're not going to want to walk away from. Certain things are going to be perfect for you, the way you want to do it. Excuse me. And that's completely fine. But making the changes that I make in businesses is what allows them to propel growth. And so the systems and processes that many people use at 2 and 3 units aren't the ones that they use at 30 units or 50 units. But the idea is that if you get to 30, if you get to 50, guess what? You don't have to make any changes and you're efficient from the word go. Rob, midterm makes the unit cash flow. Yeah, no, that's right. I remember that. So JP, Rob is in San Diego. San Diego. Pretty sure that means I can't say it here. Mm-hmm. Let me just 1 second. I just got a whole flood of messages. Not sure if like the router just hooked back up. Lars, I agree with buckle up, and I'm really glad I switched jobs before it all starts. Yeah, risky, but it will allow me to get a job that I have wanted for 7 years. That's congratulations on that. That's awesome. Wealth building journey. Yeah, Matt is spot on. Students would have the most up-to-date info. Yeah. So when you feel like you're getting blocked at a university, go where the students are and try and get access to the students and the things that they have access to. They have access to like bulletin boards and things like that. And you can literally do, with them, you can say, hey guys, where are you doing like on campus housing, or what are you guys looking at there? Where would be the best place for me to post this? And they'll tell you. And if you don't have access, you can just say, hey, is that something that you have access to, or how do I get access? And someone will say, like UNH had one. I totally dropped the dime on myself. UNH had one, and I just talked to a student, and I was just like, well, just come out, and you guys can come out and check out the place and tell me what you think. They come out and they check out the place. She's like, this place is totally awesome. And I was like, glad you love it. And she goes, and I was like, well, hey, if you just post it on the board, you can probably fill it with roommates really quickly. And I said, here's the post thing. You can just use my email address. She did. And holy cow, it was crazy. Pay them some money to post it for you. Yeah, that's a little bit. I can't say that. Some people might frown upon that. It is innovative. I do like the idea. No, but I did. Oh, good idea. I do like that idea. Would anybody, I think I'm going to start a new segment, and I'm going to put it this deep into the show. I'm not going too late tonight because I got a throat thing. I'm probably only going a few more minutes. But I will leave you with this. I just have to find it. Where did this dolt go? Okay, here we go. So here's the scenario. Yeah, JP, you can just send it to lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com. So I'll give you the situation, and here's where I'll leave you. The situation was this. Tenant was moving out. They said that they were going to move out. They didn't give proper notice. It was fine. Like, we can rent the unit, no big deal. And we just said, we just need access. Then they made it difficult to get access. Specifically the guy's girlfriend. So we had trouble getting in there to do showings. So I had to figure out exactly what I want to do that. So here's what's really interesting. So this Mensa member decided to not shut off her bill pay. And so she paid for rent for this month. We were like, interesting. Okay. So she paid it. We didn't see it come in because we don't usually go through the books and everything until the 3rd to then figure out, okay, who do we need to start hitting for late fees? See that she paid. We'd gotten a message that very first day saying, hey, paid the rent, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to get a refund. So we're like, sure, we'll look into it. We're in the office 1 day a week for looking at that stuff. We do a lot of other stuff on the other days, but 1 day a week we're in doing that. Then her boyfriend sends something a couple of days later and says, just checking in on the status of my girlfriend's refund after being erroneously billed for April rent after we ended our lease. Erroneously billed. All right. It's a little bit of come to Jesus moment for these guys. Listen up, dipshit. You weren't erroneously billed. Your brilliant Mensa member level girlfriend decided to set up in bill pay. When she set it up in bill pay, it's not a function of our system. We didn't do a grab. We didn't go out there and get it. We didn't pull it from your account. You had bill pay set up. She forgot to cancel it, so it paid a bill. There was nothing erroneous about it, you jackass. It was only due to your complete inept error. Now, here's the message that I gave them back, because this is the stuff that chaps my ass. I said, we work 1 day a week in the office, but let's be clear though. She didn't shut it off. We didn't make a mistake, nor did the system make a mistake. It was her not shutting off her automatic payment. So there is nothing erroneous about it. It's not our job to babysit grown adults who can't seem to manage their own bill pay. The office saw it and will take care of it. But again, they only look at rents 1 day a week. About sand. Guys, if you have tenants, like, how long does it take you to get a refund when you pay for something incorrectly, or when fill in the blank? Like, it's not near instantaneous, and she had her bill pay do it. The system did nothing. We have to keep their account open in our system because we have to be able to keep the account open so we can give them their security deposit back. And so we can put any bills on the account that are due to them because they left or because they broke something on their way of leaving, which they broke a few things, which they're going to get a bill. But this is kind of the silliness. This is kind of the craziness. So I'm probably going to do a new segment every week on what stupid things some tenants said to me. But this is the craziness. They're blaming that we somehow erroneously took money from them. It was their bill pay. It was their inability as adults to just shut down a bill pay. No, we don't care. But I don't deserve a text about erroneously taking her money. Didn't take anything. The jackass. And so the best part is their response back. Their response back was, okay. Like, honest to God. Oh, all right. Last question. I saw a question for that I will help out Marek with. Hold on. Yeah, Mark asked, explain why 6-plex is more risky than a 4-plex. Here's why. It's your debt. It's only your debt. On a 6-plex, you are not getting 30-year fixed rate debt. On a 4-plex, you are. On a 6-plex, you might get it from a DSCR. It's going to be more expensive. So that changes things a little bit, but a conventional loan, anything more than 4 is going to typically require a different standard of repair, whether it's sprinklers or water systems and things like that. But most importantly is your debt. Your debt might be only fixed for 3, 5, 7, maybe 10 years. And the problem with that is it then resets. And what does it reset to? So debt is the biggest issue that can get you the most. So yeah, so that's where that looks like. Is there enough time in the day to name all the stupid things tenants say? Yeah, there definitely is. Like, I won't do something small. Like, it's going to have to be like really like this. They're basically accusing me of stealing half of that rent because she couldn't turn off an auto pay. Like, whack yourself in the head. Jason Calsabetta, Velocity. You can check with Velocity, but I would check with Convoy as well. I've done both. I've done deals with both. I like them both. So yeah, Steve Dow at Velocity and John, I think it was Jonathan Wu is who I finished the loan with on my side. But guys, thanks as always for a fantastic night. Like I said, got a little bit of a throat thing. Need to jam some dinner in my face, and I have more paperwork I have to do to finish off this cost seg, and super easy process, but you have to accumulate a couple of things first. I got those things accumulated right before I went live, so I got to go finish them and post everything. So have a fantastic evening. Rest of your week, and we'll see my boot campers there on Saturday. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. If you have any questions on the course, just go look at lumberjacklandlord.com and watch the syllabus. Figure it out if it's going to help you. I bet you I can. Take care, everybody. Have a great one.